welcome back to the program Power to Unite with Elvira. We are now in the part 2 of the love story of Paul and Lia Ponce. Now, we really find it so interesting how God, was really the center of their married life, in spite of so many challenges that they had encountered. But you can see that love is so strong among them. And also, why did they choose to be together in spite of, differences in culture and differences also of their love story. One is from Brazil and the other was traveling around the world. How did they come out? That is something that we will talk and discuss when we come back to the program Power to Unite with Elvira.
For me, when I met Paul, was very important to know that he also loved the same person I love most in this world is God, and share with him. ¿Sí? Compartir.
Compartir to share.
To share. Share with him.
I'm doing the translation.
I'm Portuguese speaking. Sorry. And now, for me also, it's not a share with him, but it's very important to share with our family the God's love and the Eucharisty. Not only pray in the night with our kids, but also participate with them in the Mass and show them the love of God on the church, on the Eucharisty.
Paul, Lia, for 2 years, right? You did not, meet and see each other.
That's
so
right.
You were able to communicate very well through email until you decided that you should see each other, because
Yes.
for 2 years only between email,
Yes.
right? It's very, very strange. And then I'm sure, Lia, at that time while communicating, do you feel something already, even though you don't see each other?
Well, was that the feeling I remember was then my first email would be the only email, because not
to be in contact for so long.
He not remember me.
Ah, okay.
She thought she would just send one email and that would be it.
She never expected that
That
you
we would
will
continue to have a
Yeah.
correspondence.
And it was very nice to see how much things we have in common,
Okay.
and how that naturally come when we
Write to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then it was a surprise for me, and which the time was make me be more expectative to meet him.
There was too many things in common, too many beautiful things that we'd love to hear about each other, that we say, okay, we have to see each other. This is just too beautiful reading it, but we have to see face to face if there's something more than just beautiful emails.
Yes. So she traveled to Berlin. Is that Berlin?
Berlin, Germany?
Berlin,
Yes.
Germany.
Because at that time I was spending the longer period, and I asked her, because she was already back in Brazil studying law and had a job. She was working for the government in Brazil.
Okay.
And I said, okay, when do you have vacations, your long vacations? She said, in my summer, which is our winter in Europe. So she mentioned December. And I said, okay, December
25.
Yes, I said, in the end of December, I will be working for 4 months in Berlin. And she said, oh, I have that period, possibly, but let me ask my father. And that's when he said no. And then we said, okay, obedience, maybe I'll find another way to see how I can get back to you, to see you in Brazil. But I was a little bit disappointed because I was sort of excited that there was a possibility to see her.
Yes, yes.
And then for 2 weeks, we were just emailing each other, and then suddenly she says, no, my father suddenly said yes, that I would be able to come to Berlin. And I said, how did this change? And she explained that he was finding out about me through friends who knew me. So and then we were excited to get a flight over to Berlin.
Yes.
And the only one that was available, because it was so late to decide, was on the 25th of December. So she arrived on the 25th of December. And very exciting. I picked her up. We were very nervous, and we went to pray. I took her to a small chapel that I went often. It was close to where I lived, and it was a small chapel inside a hospital. And I said, I want to show you where I pray every day. And I've been praying for your trip and for us to see each other. And so we went there and prayed. And ever since that day, we started going to church every day, praying together, and things developed beautifully in a foundation of our trust in God, that we wanted to do God's will. She wants to do God's will, I want to do God's will. And we felt that we were taking step by step. And those were two beautiful weeks. After those 2 weeks, because now we were courting each other and said, no, we know that we have feelings for each other. Let's put our relationship in God's hands. Let's consecrate our relationship. And the day before she left back to Brazil, I took her again to the same chapel, and there was a beautiful image of the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Oh, okay.
And I said, let's consecrate our new relationship, our new courtship to the Sacred Heart, to the Holy Family, to the Holy Family. And she said, it's a good idea. So we did our first consecration there to the Holy Family. And I said, even though you go back to Brazil and I stay here in Europe, every morning let's do this small consecration and see if it's God's will that this goes further and further.
You can see the hands of God is already working in your relationship.
Oh, it was.
And
yes.
I'm sure He was very happy when you said you will consecrate your married life, and then whenever you have children in the future, it will be like the Holy Family.
Exactly.
Right?
It was definitely. And what was beautiful is that she went back to Brazil, and I did everything possible to fly to Brazil as soon as possible to see her. And it was just 3 months later that I flew to Brazil to meet her parents, meet her family, and everything was going so beautifully. And I talked to her spiritual guide in Brazil, and we said, this is so beautiful, our emails, our meetings, but to know if we are called to become a married couple and to form a family, we need to know it better. And I said, the only way I would think is to see if she would like to this kind of life of traveling around, because I take it as an apostolate, I take it as a mission to go around the world in different shows. But I don't know if she's going to like this kind of life. But we have to see. And I said, well, what do you think? We talked to the parents and to her spiritual guide. If she would come with me a few contracts, every time that I have a long contract, she could stay with a family. She could stay with a Catholic family. And they said, well, that's a good idea. So I said, we planned this for the following summer. And the following summer, I had a contract with a show in Australia and New Zealand. And I didn't know anybody there.
Yes.
And so I said, what are we going to do? And I talked to the producer. I said, all the conditions are fine. The only thing is I need 2 rooms for this contract. And he said, why do you need 2 rooms? Who's coming with you?
Yes.
And I said, my girlfriend. Well, if she's your girlfriend, why do you need 2 rooms?
Yes.
Because we're not married.
Yeah.
And he thought I was joking, but when he saw that I was seriously talking, he said, okay, we'll find a solution. We will allow the choreographer, the lady choreographer of the show, to share rooms with Lia. Yes. And that's how it went. And once we were in Australia, 2 weeks later, the producer comes to us and says to us, Paul, Lia, I see you every day together here in the theater. I see you in town together. You always look so happy, both of you. But I know for sure that Lia goes to sleep in the room of Katie because she tells me every night she's there sleeping. I didn't know that you court your girlfriend this way. And I told them, we're not alone. If it's not with God's help, it would not be possible. We have our temptations, but with God it's possible. And we want to be faithful to each other day by day.
So you practice chastity at that time.
Yes,
that's beautiful. But I think that's already a sign of respect.
Exactly. Well, it was on both sides. On both sides, we wanted to live faithfully to what God was calling us. The beautiful thing is that God proposes to live our courtship in chastity for our own good. If we are faithful or not, it doesn't change God. God continues to be God. But we are the ones who will change and become better human beings prepared for what is wonderful, married life. And it's the best way to discern if you're really called to form a family. The problem, I think, with society is that they don't take seriously courtship. And they don't understand that if you live courtship in chastity, you're really preparing yourself for married life. Much better than if you start living with the person before getting married, because then it's harder to discern if that person is really the one that is called to be your wife or your husband. but it's hard to explain this to society.
Yes. But you know, because that was year 2000 something? Is it?
2003, 4.
Yeah.
2004.
You know, already at that time, the society is changing very fast, you
Yes.
know. The influence of this commercialism, materialism is already very strong. You know, as you said, where beautiful girls are being taken advantage. They join to become a star. They think their beauty can really help them become
In their
popular
career or
and
whatever.
career, you
Yeah.
know. But it's not so. It's very rare at that time, 2003 or 4, to see still a couple practicing the old traditional way of, you know, respect for each other, trying to see how we can overcome temptation, you know. But you were able to do that because both of you really consecrate your life and love to the Lord Jesus Christ.
It was our foundation.
Yes, that's
And-
very strong. you
Yeah, and
know.
we felt that that made us really happy and fulfilled. We were each day happier and happier and excited about our future married life. And it wasn't like, okay, we have to live chastity until our marriage. No, we just said today. We want to be chaste today. We don't know if tomorrow, after tomorrow, we're not going to be chaste. We're going to try, but I only have today to try to be
I know
chaste.
that today I can do it.
And only today I
Yeah.
can do it. And the next day we said the same thing. And the next day we said the same
Until
thing.
it lasts for how many months or years before you
was-
decide to get married?
It was 1 year from
About 1 year.
in 2005 we got married. The following year on May 13th. And we thanked God. We said, thank you, God, for allowing us to arrive to our marriage state just as we started in chastity.
Yes,
And
yes.
we wanted to, but we were not sure, 100% sure, because there are so many temptations. But it was possible. And that's what also surprised us, the power of God, because if you're faithful and you want to try, He will help you.